What's going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to Voice of Bedlam Live. I'm your host, Andrew Santoro. We got a great show planned out for you guys today. Remember, always go over and check out voiceofbedlam.com. Check out the blog and everything else we got going on over there. Colin's got a really nice series going on about, what the F moments.
What the
But why don't we start talking to some of the co-hosts and see what's going on with Devil John. What's going on, John?
It's been busy. I had to do a wedding. Believe it or not, I DJ'd it. DJ playlist though.
A lot of chicken dance.
No chicken dance, but there was the cha-cha slide, and there was also something called the biker shuffle that I've never ever seen before. But speaking of the biker shuffle, let's shuffle on down the 95 and say hello to our friend Colin. What's up, Colin?
What's going on, guys? Guess who's back? Back again. Colin's back. Tell all your friends we're on the All In Sports Network.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and we're leaving your brother out. We're just done with him.
Yeah, your brother's been like 8. He's like 86.
He's in the West Coast. He's out seeing the Grand Canyon in Cardinals country. I don't think he's got time for us right now.
Oh, he's in Arizona.
Yeah,
That's
in Arizona.
right.
Yeah.
He should be calling us and telling us about the great views that he sees.
The great 6'6" tie.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Yeah. All right. So now that Colin's mentioned this, but before we get into today's daily breakdown and recap Sunday night, Monday night, let's do one of our new ads here. There's a storm coming, a firestorm. Get ready to raise your game because watching sports will never be the same. Introducing Fire Fan. It's a game changer. Finally, a sports app that puts you in the game. You can predict the scores, call plays. It's real time. You guys can watch and compete against your sports heroes, celebrities, family, and friends. So the more you call it, the more points you can achieve.
Yes, as a loyal fan, you can earn loyalty points. So do not miss the hottest app of the year, Fire Fan. Ignite your passion at firefan.com to pre-register and enter for player rewards. Don't forget to enter the code Ready, Set, Win. That's Ready, Set, Win with no spaces. Play the game at firefan.com.
Earn rewards. Now, I'm so glad you did that ad because Ready, Set, Win, I did not see it like that. The promo code. But why don't we get things moving? Remember, go to firefan.com. Ready, set, win. And let's get this thing moving, recapping some of the scores. Starting off, Green Bay 26, Chicago 10. New York Giants having to go all the way out to England to win a game, 17-10 over the Los Angeles Rams. Cincinnati trumps out Cleveland 31-17. Detroit over Washington 20-17. Oakland over Jacksonville 33-16. KC did KC...
They won.
Game.
Yeah,
KC took out New Orleans 27-21. Miami over Buffalo. Now, Buffalo had won 4 straight, losing a divisional 28-25. Jets on top of Baltimore. Geno Smith tears ACL. Ryan Fitzpatrick comes in as a reliever, throws a touchdown, and wins. We'll get into that game a little bit more in a bit. Let's see. Indy over Tennessee 34-26. San Diego over Atlanta 33-10. Tampa taking out Colin Kaepernick 34-17 over the Niners. New England can't stop winning 27-16 over the Roethlisberger-less Pittsburgh Steelers. Big Ben is throwing now, they're reporting.
Yeah.
Arizona and Seattle, Sunday Night Football ending in a tie, 6-6. First game to end in a tie without a touchdown being scored since 1972. Denver takes out Brock Osweiler, trying to go show the Denver fans that they never should have let him leave, but does the opposite and loses 27-9. And I guess that'll wrap up.
But we skipped over one game, and it was the game that kind of surprised the heck out of me, and that was Philadelphia 21 over Minnesota's 10.
Yeah,
what
that was
happened to Purple Rain? And let's why don't we just ask a Philly fan right now?
Colin, what's going on? How were you guys able to take out the undefeated Minnesota Vikings?
By getting to Sam Bradford. We know Sam
Defense,
Bradford
yeah.
better than anybody. That defense was strong. Defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz, who is known as a defensive coordinator who does not blitz often, dialed up 12 blitzes throughout the game, which is probably twice as many as he's done in the last 2 to 3 weeks prior. So we just got to Sam Bradford. He had no time to set his feet and kind of look for his receivers. Obviously, Stephon Diggs was playing a little bit hurt, but man, they were just hitting Bradford left and right. I believe it was 7 sacks we got on Sam Bradford in the game. So, I mean, if you're going to get to the quarterback that much, there's no way they can move the ball, and our offense did just barely enough to win the game.
Now, what about
so
Josh
happy with it.
Huff and his 98-yard return for a touchdown?
2 weeks in a row now, Wendell Smallwood had a return for a touchdown the week prior against the Washington Redskins. So you got to love
teams
when
coming in
special
big.
teams helps you out. Oh, absolutely. But their offense needs to get it together. Carson Wentz has kind of digressed a couple weeks in a row now. Obviously, these are, maybe not the Redskins defense so much, but the Vikings defense is one of the toughest in the league. So we're going to have to bounce back next week against Dallas. But I am just going to enjoy this win while we've got the opportunity to.
As you should. Your defense looked very good. Honestly, I'm going to have to start showing a little bit more respect for the NFC Feast division, because if I'm not mistaken, the NFC Feast has feasted on 17 victories in that conference. You guys went from the worst to the top ranks in the NFCs now.
The only division without a team with a losing record, yeah.
Now, but we got to keep in perspective here. I mean, Carson Wentz did have multiple interceptions in this game. Didn't he have 2 early interceptions, correct?
He sure did, yeah, and bad interceptions, too. The kind of passes that you scream at the TV, like, why the hell would you
That's
even
a number
throw
one scoring
that?
defense. It's a number one scoring defense.
True. Yeah, you can't. Yeah,
Absolutely.
there are opponents. Yeah,
They're
the other guys get paid too.
exactly, and that Vikings defense is no joke. There was a reason why they were the number one scoring defense going into the game. Seeing that the Philadelphia Eagles defense decided to show up was awesome. But my question to you, Colin, as an Eagles fan, is the familiar knowledge of Sam Bradford the focal point of why your defense had so much success? Are they going to be able to channel what they did in preparation against Sam Bradford to finish out the season strong?
Well, they got to be able to. Now, like I said, Jim Schwartz is not known as a defensive coordinator who likes to blitz, and we definitely blitz more often than we normally do against the Vikings. Now, I'm not sure if that's going to be a strategy that's going to work against the Cowboys and against the Giants after that, but Jim Schwartz did show that he is willing to change up his game plan, maybe step outside of his comfort zone in order to get to the team's weakness. Sam Bradford, as we know as Eagles fans, and as they knew, saw him in training camp.
Correct.
He gets rattled when the pressure's on. He's not particularly good against the blitz, so we switched up our game plan. We got to him, and we ended up winning the game. Now, nobody's been able to stop Dak Prescott yet, so I don't know if we're going to be able to keep this momentum. I'm not sure exactly what Jim Schwartz's game plan is going to be moving forward. Obviously, we were just saying this division is a lot tougher than any of us. Andrew, I'm sure you can attest to it too. It's tougher than any of us really gave it credit for. So I'm not going to sit here and say that the Eagles are back to no doubt going to win the division, but a lot will be decided this coming Sunday.
Yeah, they did lose 2 straight, but let's take a quick second here before we get into some of the headlines in today's daily breakdown and remind you guys about Triple J's fantasyfootballreport.com. Now, remember, that's Triple J's, so Triple JS fantasyfootballreport.com. This is your number one stop for everything fantasy football. A nice little blog. They got some posts telling you how you can recover if you drafted Arian Foster, which we'll tell you why.
Thanks a lot, Arian.
We'll tell you guys why in our daily breakdown. But remember, go to Triple J's Fantasy Football Report before you set your lineup for the upcoming week. They got some awesome, fun stuff up there, some funny stuff, some stuff to help you set your lineup. And so just make sure you see what it's all about over at Triple J's FantasyFootballReport.com. All right, let's get to some of these headlines with today's daily breakdown. And we'll start with Arian Foster announcing retirement. Now, I saw this coming. I didn't think he should have played last year. After he suffered some of those injuries earlier, even before the ACL, he was saying he wasn't sure if he was going to come back. He was scared because of the injuries, and he was going to retire. And I don't really have too much faith in people once they say that, if they decide to stick around, because I don't know how committed they really are. And he proved that he wasn't, and went over to Miami, and now he's done. John, what do you think about Foster and his retirement?
His injury proneness, definitely. He should have called it quits a little while ago. If to preserve his body just for after football, because it's great to play the game, it's great to be in the spotlight, but you got to be able to walk away from the game too, right? At least physically too, as well as mentally. But I know that he wants to compete, but obviously his body, just won't allow him to anymore. After you get banged up that much, there's only so much that your body can respond to, and he gave the Houston Texans a few good years, and tip of the hat to you, sir. What about you, Colin?
He's really a legend per se. Like, he was the best over the last 8 years. He's not a legend. That would be a little bit too strong. But over the last 8 years since he's been in the league in 2009, only Adrian Peterson has more touchdowns over that 8-year stretch than Arian Foster. He had 54 rushing touchdowns and 14 receiving touchdowns over the last 8 years. Though, those numbers are nothing to slouch at. I'm not sure he's bound for Canton, but he was definitely one of the best and most reliable backs for several year stretch. Obviously, the injuries caught up for him, playing in only 16 games in 2010 and 2012, but sad to see him go. Seems like a really, really nice guy. Everyone who's ever met the person, everyone who I've ever heard talking about, I met him in the studio here. Very popular guy. I'm hoping he sticks around in the NFL, finds a job somewhere.
Yeah.
I'd love to watch him on TV.
I don't know. I'm not too crazy about Arian Foster. I never was. He seemed to come out of nowhere, and he took the rushing title. But then, he kind of just seems injury prone. Can't really ever put together 16 games. This year, he had a bunch of soft tissue injuries early. Week 1, he was the starter for Miami, but throughout his short career with Miami, he's going 55 yards on 22 attempts, which is just it's right around 2 yards a carry.
What about the fact that he was undrafted free agent?
Well, yes, that is true. Especially when he took the rushing title, that was a big thing. But he didn't keep it going. He had a nice little career, but he's definitely not a Canton guy. I'm sorry. There's no. Sure. I don't think it's a question. I'm not trying to disrespect the man, but I think we'd be disrespecting the players that are in there if we said I just don't see Arian.
I remember using him.
He did
a
have
few
the
times
54 rushing touchdowns, as Colin said. I think.
I always go to Madden references, and I always didn't completely oppose having the Texans when he was there.
All right, now, but why don't we take a second, and there's a bunch of New York Giants news to get to. Finally, they snap the 3-game losing streak, keep themselves in contention. They're a winning team again, 4-3. As we said earlier, no losing teams. There's not even any 500 teams
you guys
in the NFC East. They're looking like the strongest division in football. But before we get to...
Looks like you guys lost a player, though, after you came back from your trip.
Well, he never made the trip. Josh Brown, got to talk about about
Oh, I didn't say that he made the trip. I just said that he's lost now. He's gone.
We got to talk about domestic abuse again. Now, this is stemming from he allegedly, or I mean, it seems like he's confessed now, beat up his estranged wife at the Pro Bowl that he invited her to this past January, or I guess that would be February. Beat up his wife there, but I guess what came to light, he did get suspended 1 game for that, but I guess somehow his like journal and these emails of him confessing came out, and that's how everything blew back up. Yesterday he was put on the commissioner's exempt list, and that's kind of a controversial list, but he wasn't fighting it, so the union's not making a big deal about it, and the Giants have cut him today. He released a statement saying he's sorry for tarnishing the Giants' reputation, which it really seems like he did.
Yeah, that's Grace. That's
the Giants were very outspoken about not, which they should be, about not advocating for such things. But then they gave Josh Brown a contract when they already knew about it. Now the Giants seem to have some egg on their face. They were always considered to be one of these, family-oriented, especially when Ann Mara was alive. The matriarch of the Giants. But it's not looking that way. I mean, I'm not saying the Giants should be discredited as, a good, wholesome organization, but a lot of people are looking at them differently. But let's talk about this game a little bit. A game in which the Giants won, but a lot of people aren't too happy. It was a real exciting game. No, it was exciting, though. I mean, Landon Collins, that interception that Landon Collins pulled in, that first one, for that 44-yard return, I want to see how many actual yards he ran, including East and West. It was like Tecmo Bowl, and he was Bo Jackson running backwards, left, right. They should have him returning kicks, but they say he can't cover, so it's funny. Both interceptions were basically, it seemed like the same play almost, coming batted from, I believe, like a linebacker, and then him just getting underneath it. He also had a nice return. I don't have the exact numbers on the second one, but it wasn't a touchdown. And then Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie got 2 interceptions as well, one of them just being a flat-out gift at the end of the game. But luckily, because a terrible penalty was called on him, a bad penalty late to give the Rams a chance to win. Giants come out 17-10. What's up, John?
The Rams started off pretty well, though.
Oh, they came out 10-0 in the first quarter.
But then there was just nothing to show for it after that. There was nothing at all. You put up nothing in the second, third, and fourth. You can't do that. If you're going to
4 interceptions will do that.
And
4 interceptions out of case.
Definitely. So if you're going to turn, obviously you got to switch up your game a little bit. You got a running back that can move the ball, or can he not move the ball? Is that line? I think it's that line. Honestly, because they have targets out there that are decent. And Tavon Austin. So there's people to throw to, and then not only that, you got Gurley, one of the respected running backs in the game right now, especially amongst young talent. So what is going on here? I don't know. Maybe it has to be the offensive line, or maybe it's just the offensive scheme. What are you guys thinking?
Speaking about the Rams, I mean, they're just not that talented of an offense. I mean, they have Todd Gurley, but he doesn't really have any type of a line. He seems to be doing better out of the backfield as a receiver, and he's more comfortable with that. But, I mean, I think they had a much higher hopes for him to be more of a complete back. It's great that he's good out of the backfield, but it's starting to look like he needs to play like a wide receiver out of the backfield, kind of like Shane Vereen. And Shane Vereen's on the Giants, and I'm not really for players like that. I'm not crazy about a third down back. They really have to be excellent. I really need you to do more in my type of offense.
What are you thinking, Colin?
The only thing that really sticks out about the Rams this year is Todd Gurley has just got to be the most disappointing player in the entire league this year. He took the league by storm last year. Once he started, I believe it was game 4, rushed for 1,000 yards just in the last 12 games alone. And then this year, he's just nothing but pedestrian. He can't get going.
Yeah,
there's just nothing there.
He fell off completely. It's crazy to think that because, especially for fantasy owners who most people, put in a good chunk of change to enter their chance to play fantasy football. And unfortunately, that was one of the big busts for this year, as well as some of the top tier wide receivers this year. It's been a very topsy-turvy year, honestly. I would have never thought that the Eagles would have taken out Minnesota, and they did. And not only that, two rookies in Dallas are lighting it up in there as well in that division. So there's a lot of things that
Dallas had the bye though.
Yeah, but I'm just saying there's a lot of things going on this year that are just questions like what is going on? The NFC feast, like what happened to y'all? You guys just were giving away L's. Now it's just like, now give us all them wins. Num. I think, like, if I'm not mistaken, there's like about 17 wins in your division. That's redunculous. I would have never thought that a division would turn themselves around completely like that.
Yeah,
that really comes down to Dak and Carson just being better than expectations.
Yeah,
exactly. That is very true. But let's talk about a team that did lose this week in the Washington Redskins, falling to the Detroit Lions 17-20. Washington was able to put up 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, but it wasn't enough.
No. But honestly, Detroit, it's not terrible. They're not completely terrible. Ask the Philadelphia
Well, now, I mean,
Eagles.
it's surprising. Detroit being 4-3. I mean, now they're on a 3-game winning streak, and Washington was on a 4-game winning streak.
I don't think they're going to be able to make the playoffs, though.
Which team are you talking about?
The Lions, because they're in a tough division up there.
Yeah, and I mean, they've just had a lot of change. Martha Ford came out last year and just fired the entire team. Yeah, I mean. But I don't know. Maybe this will be building blocks for them, like people were hoping for the Jets last year. We will have to get over to that. I don't know how we haven't talked about this whole Jets situation yet. But Colin, do you have anything on the Lions-Redskin game? I mean, do you have anything?
Just when you ruled out the Lions, they came back and got that touchdown to Anquan Bolden in the fourth quarter. That Redskins secondary, despite having Josh Norman, is still a bit susceptible. But get this. This is something that a buddy of mine who's a Lions fan shared with me, or shared on social media, and I caught wind of it. Guess who leads the NFL in completions, passing yards, and 350-yard games in the first 100 games of their career?
My mother.
Matt Stafford, I guess.
It's Matt Stafford.
Wow.
He's literally the best quarterback in 100 games to start a career that there ever was. And he came into the league right when it started becoming a real pass-happy league, but you still have to have some amount of talent to do that. Matt Stafford's been a very underrated quarterback for his entire career.
I agree.
Calvin Johnson padded his stats, but even without him this year, he's having a good year. They just haven't been able to put enough talent around him. Not to mention, like you guys were just saying, tough division.
Yeah, I mean, I totally lost my train of thought here. He was talking about Stafford.
They just have older wide receivers right now. And just another side note from that game, Josh Norman went out with a concussion in that game, and Marvin Jones ended up getting a nice 52-yard pass on
that
him.
play. Yeah, on that
play. That's pretty noteworthy. So we'll see.
And Matt Jones. Speaking of Joneses, Matt Jones fumbled the ball twice for the Redskins. They've got an issue there in Washington behind the line of scrimmage. They need to have somebody run the ball without turning it over.
All right. So let's get over to the New York Jets. All right. So, Ryan Fitzpatrick playing like absolute garbage, which is the reason why the Jets did not want to give him a big contract in the offseason. So he gets benched. All right.
Some drama going there.
But But then, according to NFL.com, Ryan Fitzpatrick replaced an injured Geno Smith and led the New York Jets on 3 scoring drives, and a rejuvenated defense came up with 2 rare interceptions in a 24-16 comeback victory over the Baltimore Ravens on Sunday. So now Geno Smith tears his ACL. How Geno is that? You know what I'm saying? How Geno is it to finally get another chance again and be placed on IR moments later? Fitzpatrick comes in, leads them on the win, then gets to the podium, and that's where he starts talking smack. In my opinion, he was, after a win, for this much trash to be talked, this much passive aggressiveness, it's really humorous. It could only be the Jets. The Jets are still the circus they were with Rex Ryan. I thought they would be different with Todd Bowles. I thought he was going to have this team organized and well reserved. That is not true at all. Mohammed Wilkerson, Mo Wilkes has actually been doing good. Sheldon Richardson still always getting into trouble. Yep. But Geno, so Fitzpatrick takes the podium and says that nobody believes in him. His coach doesn't believe in him. His teammates, his GM, but he believes in himself and he knows he could do it, and that's what he did. And you know what? More props to him. I mean, but I don't know. It's not like he's played great. He's played absolutely terrible.
Honestly,
11 interceptions, 6 touchdowns.
He should be feeling himself a little bit. You know, the Ravens defense is no shabby defense, but honestly, there's not very much going on for the Jets. And for him,
get this, though. This is a good headline, though. Todd Bowles comes back, and he says he's tired of being unappreciated. I'm tired of turnovers.
Yeah,
that was his retort. So there is some back and forth going on with the Jets. John, do you think that that is going to affect them? Todd Bowles says it won't.
I think it's going to completely affect them, because if they're airing out dirty laundry to the press, then exactly. God knows what's going on in the locker room.
That's definitely a Jet thing. That's just part of their personality.
I just, because anybody ever heard of behind closed doors? Come on now. But honestly, I don't know. What are you thinking, Colin? Because I think it's ridiculous. I think it's a
well, Colin, let me ask you this, right? Now, Todd Bowles says that if he wants to be mad and he's going to play like that every week, I'm going to keep him mad every week. So do you think that's going to work? Do you think that they can keep the fire lit on Fitzpatrick and he'll perform and not try and force the ball to Brandon Marshall as he's been doing, especially now that they've lost Eric Decker? Or do you agree with John and just think that it's bad chemistry between him and the organization right now?
Well, it's definitely bad blood there between the two. But if I'm Todd Bowles, I'm throwing out the best option, and it's just going to be Ryan Fitzpatrick until either Bryce Petty or Christian Hackenberg shows anything differently. But Andrew, I think you brought up the big thing. Not having Eric Decker is definitely hurting this team, and they can't seem to make up their mind in the run game. They don't know if they want to give it to Bilal. They don't want to know if they want to give it to Forte. It goes back and forth every week, but there's just no real solid game plan that they seem to be going out there with every week. Fitzpatrick, like you said, is just force feeding the ball to Marshall. It's just a wreck. Fitzpatrick is just going to go and retire at the end of the year, call it a day, and Todd Bowles is going to have no quarterback moving forward. It's a mess.
Yes, it is. It's very ugly, but honestly, it's kind of what we've come to expect from Jets football as of lately.
All right, so why don't we stick with the division? We've already talked about, let's stick with the division and talk about the division leaders, that being the New England Patriots, who took out the Steelers. Now, there was no Big Ben in this game, as if they don't even have to face the Steelers at full strength. The Patriots always get a great hand dealt to them. I guess that's not true. They had to go without Brady. I don't know what I'm talking about. Just forget everything I just said. But why don't one of you two talk about New England and the Steelers?
Get them.
While I do my JokerChoker picks that I have yet to do.
Oh, you're terrible. Honestly, seeing Brady back, it scares the living boop out of me. And because I see them going for another ring with him, and they moved the ball without him, and they're darn sure doing pretty well with them. So that's a scary team right now, and they are proving that, over the years, the last decade of just running that division,
Colin,
they're here to stay.
Talk to me about this offense. Blunt ran for 127 yards with 2 scores, and Brady was 19 of 26 for 222 with 2 touchdowns.
They're completely unstoppable. You don't know if it's going to go to Edelman, who's finally got a decent amount of catches this game. You don't know if it's going to go to Gronk or Martellus Bennett. James White's in there catching everything. They don't even have Dion Lewis back yet. I'm trying to find the Patriots schedule and find a team that's going to beat them for the rest of the year, because nobody has even come close. I can't even comprehend how good Brady is playing. He missed 4 games, and it just still doesn't matter. I'm going to pull up the schedule right now and try to find a team that can beat them. Maybe the Bills at home. They already shut them out once, but they've already beaten the Steelers. They beat the Bengals.
It's going to be hard
to
do
play
that
the Broncos. They play the Broncos week 15. It wouldn't surprise me if they won every single game there. They do play the Seahawks after the Bills, but it's at Foxborough. So who's going to stop them?
Not at home. Everybody last time, bet against them, and I was like, oh, well, no, they're at home, guys. Why would you bet against the Patriots at home? And that was one of those picks that I got to get and moved me up in the JokerChoker Pick'ems, because, I believed in them at home, and I believe in them again at home, because until you stop them, who's going to? But that's the biggest question. Who's going to be able to stop them? And as you looked at very briefly at their schedule, it might be the Bills, but I don't know. This team's a juggernaut to be had with.
Can Buffalo squeak in on a wild card?
Yeah.
They will
I
play
think
the
so. Their
Patriots
offense is back. They've got a new offensive coordinator, and now they're moving the ball.
Well, there's going to be 2 from the AFC West. That's a guaranteed. So one of the wild card slots is coming from the West. That's guaranteed at this point.
All right, well, New England does square up against Buffalo. We'll preview that more so later in the week. Now, I don't know. We might not. Now, let's do a quick little, refresher here. I am Andrew Bedlam. Well, you guys are listening to A Voice of Bedlam live on the All In Sports Talk Network. Check out our website, voiceofbedlam.com. You got a full blog up at voiceofbedlam.com. Plenty of good reading material, and check out everything over there. Go to our Facebook, facebook.com/VOBpod. Check us out. Check me out on Twitter at Andrew Bedlam. You guys can tweet me anything you want. We got some funny things going on there as well. Thanks for hanging out with us. As always, I got Devil John on the mic and on the boards, and we got King Kojo Johnson on the phones. We got about another 28 minutes to go in this installment. There might not be a show next week, but you can catch us for the most part, every Tuesday at 8 p.m. on the All In Sports Talk Network, every Friday at 9 p.m. on the All In Sports Talk Network. You guys can download the All In Sports Talk app from the Google Play Store or the Apple Store.
iOS,
yeah, the iOS. I don't even know what that means. I hate Apple, so I don't really care. I hope you have a Droid.
It's just the App Store.
It's their operating system.
So iOS, Android,
Yeah,
whatever
I know
phone
it's
you
the
got,
operating system,
you can
but,
obtain us. Just go there.
Yeah, exactly. Or you guys can just go to allinsportstalk.com and also, check out all the other shows. Check us out if you guys missed any part of this show. They're always replaying it on the All In Sports Talk Network, and if you guys go to voiceofbedlam.com, you can click on video podcast.
See these handsome faces.
See if we look as good as we
Some
sound.
of our faces.
And believe me, I do at least. But you guys can check us out. We're also on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music. You can get links to everything from voiceofbedlam.com. So head over there now.
Voiceofbedlam.com.
Go there now.
What do you guys want to recap next? John, you want to talk about Oakland taking out the Jags? Jags 33-16.
Honestly, I just want to brief over it. Just because the Jaguars are terrible this year. I honestly, I was one of those guys that was like, oh, keep your eyes out for these Jaguars. They could be good, and they're young, and the inexperience right now is definitely showing, and they're just not performing. Blake Bortles is terrible, and their team is just absolutely terrible.
Well, as soon as Latavius Murray comes back from injury, he rushes for 2 touchdowns. Colin, what's your take on this game?
I gotta echo what John just said. I really thought Blake Bortles was going to take a step forward this year. Turns out he's taken 6 steps back. He's just awful. He's 8 picks, 7 interceptions. Yeah, he threw a lot of picks last year, but he also coupled that with a lot of at least junk time touchdowns. Not happening for him this year. Jalen Ramsey, first-round pick's been playing well, but that's really the only step forward that their defense has taken. It's still a pretty weak defense there. Gus Bradley's going to be out of a job if they don't win at least 8 games this year.
They've lost 3 straight at home, and they're sitting at 2-4.
Not looking good if you're a Jacksonville Jaguars fan or if you're Gus Bradley.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. They, according to NFL.com, Jacksonville fell to 14-40 during Bradley's 4 season, and that's the largest loss, or the largest loss was filled with poor execution on both sides. Oh, this was the largest loss, but 14-40, that is a terrible record. I got to figure out what that win percentage is. Not good. Terrible.
We math bad.
Now, I'm doing my JokerChoker picks. We'll get and unveil our JokerChoker picks in a minute. But I did take Jacksonville over Tennessee, and I got to switch that. I'm going to switch it right now. See, I haven't locked in
Tennessee at home. You crazy.
Yeah, I was like, man.
I don't like this slate that we got coming up this week. I'm not too keen on it. Now, we're not too sure if there's going to be a second show this week because we're hosting the Pogo City Presents Night of the Living Pogo. Got a nice little punk rock show going on at You're Welcome in Southside Bethlehem on New Street. So come out there, see Hate to Say It, Hate Trash Disasters, Admit Nothing, Front Street Socialites, and Galare. So make sure you guys get out to Southside Bethlehem. We'll all be there. Well, me and John will, at least. I don't know about everybody else. You guys can see the rest of the Pogo City crew and see what goes on these crazy Friday nights in Southside Bethlehem.
Definitely. It should be a good day.
So since we're not going to have a show, why don't we get in to our JokerChoker picks and also preview the upcoming week?
Yeah. Since there's 3 of us, why don't we go?
I'm pulling up your guys' stuff.
Yeah, I have mine. Well, Colin has his up, right? Colin?
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So pull your picks up, all right, and we're gonna go through each and every single one.
Why don't you pull it up on your computer?
I have mine up. Look at it.
No, but I meant his. But never mind.
His? He's got his, so he's gonna talk about his, and I got mine here.
All right, never mind. I wanted to see it, but it's cool. I'll get it. Go ahead, Colin.
Well, the first thing I'll say about my picks is I'm looking back at it now. I'm going all in, really going for a 4 of a kind this week.
Ooh.
But I picked a lot of road teams, and I normally hate doing that in a pick 'em. But let's break it down here. So I'm going for 4 of a kind, as I mentioned. I'm taking the Tennessee Titans over the Jacksonville Jaguars. That gives me the 5 of spades. The Titans are at home. Now, the rest of my games, I'm picking road teams, every single one. I'm taking the Patriots over the Bills, which is really just a gimme pick because that's not for my 4 of a kind. I'm taking the 4 clubs there. But the rest of the 5s, I'm taking Cardinals over Panthers, Eagles over Cowboys, Vikings over Bears. Now, I
disagree with that Eagles pick. I disagree.
This is why I like JokerChoker. I kind of disagree with that Eagles pick too. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility, but if I had a gun to my head, I'd probably take the Cowboys. But you know what? I want that 4 of a kind, so that's why I like JokerChoker. It's going against your gut sometimes because you got to play the poker hand. That's how you're going to come back and win this league. So I'm going to go with the JokerChoker picks over the just straight football picks, and we'll see how we go.
Oh wow. Well, I guess I'll take up mine as the esteemed host finalizes his
As I rush to
his
do
selections.
Oh God, I do not like.
I'm
this. I'm not
going
doing
with
this.
Oakland over Tampa Bay. And that's going to give me the Queen of Diamonds. I'm going to go with Kansas City Chiefs over the Indianapolis Colts to give me the 10 of Spades. Texans over Lions to give me the 10 of Hearts. The New York Jets over the Browns to give me the Queen of Clubs, and then the Broncos over the Chargers to give me the Queen of Spades. So that is 3 queens and a pair of 10s. So that's a full
queens
house.
over 10s.
A little full house action because I need to reclaim this. I'm in 3rd place right now. I need to go on top, but what are you thinking right now?
I'm not totally ready. I can't figure out the 5 cards I want to use.
I got you. So then why don't we talk about some of the other games that we were?
All right. So who do you guys? Let's talk about this Jacksonville visiting Tennessee.
I got Tennessee.
As do I.
What about you, Colin?
I took them as well. Titans at home, their defense has started off strong. It's kind of come back down to earth the last couple of weeks, but the Jacksonville Jaguars are just not getting anything done. Allen Robinson and Allen Hurns have been no-shows all year long, it seems. I don't see the offense going and beating the Titans in Tennessee.
All right, well, let's take a quick second before I reveal my JokerChoker picks that I'm ready to finalize and tell you guys a little bit more about JokerChoker.com, who presents our Voice of Bedlam pick'ems every week. Head over to JokerChoker.com, the home of JokerChoker Pro Football Pick'ems. This is a new style of football pick'ems that brings the strategy of poker to the game of football pick'ems. It's free to play, it's easy to play, but it takes strategy to win. Each week, you will pick your game winners and try to build the best poker hands from the winning team's cards. Over $500 in season-end prizes available. Sign up for your free account at JokerChoker.com and use promo code BEDLAM for bonus coins to get you started. So if you guys go to JokerChoker.com now and you guys click, when you sign in, type in Bedlam, BEDLAM, just like the show, you guys can compete for $500 and it won't even cost you a cent. So get in on it. Get in on the cash prize at JokerChoker.com and put in promo code Bedlam. So
Try to take down the devil.
Joker.
John's currently in 3rd place. But make sure, you guys understand that out of the teams you pick, you will also get poker cards for them. So you also try and have to build the best poker hand possible. So let's talk about my poker hands. Now, the games that I will be using in the hands, I'm going for a full house. I believe it is queens over 10s. Now, I like the Oakland Raiders over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I like the Kansas City Chiefs over the Colts. I like the Houston Texans coming back from a loss. Let's see if Brock Osweiler can redeem himself from a dismal 130-yard passing performance. So Brock Osweiler over the Lions and Matt Stafford. That's one of the ones I'm not totally secure in, but I like it because it gives me my second 10, a 10 of hearts, to complete my full house. I'm also taking the Jets. Ryan Fitzpatrick get a nice little tune-up here against the Browns. Fitzmagic, you better not lose to the Browns. Taking the Jets, giving me the Queen of Clubs, and Denver Broncos over the Chargers, giving me that 3rd queen, completing my full house as I forgot to put in the combined score for Monday night. Got to work in the tiebreakers.
Hey, Colin. Don't those picks sound really genius?
They really do. I think those are excellent picks. They also sound a little on the familiar side.
Yeah, I don't know why they sound so familiar.
Who picked them?
I don't know why.
I wasn't really paying attention.
Maybe because you're sitting right next to them. Those are exactly the same exact cards that I'm going for and the same exact picks.
Now, in Andrew's defense, John, you're the best at this out of the 4 regulars here. You are the go-to guy.
I
think I'm in like 6th place though. though, so I'm up there.
Yeah, because apparently you like to copy me just a little
Sean
bit.
and Colin ain't even in like the top rankings.
I'm in the top 12, and I think Sean was too busy prepping for vacation that he maybe even forgot to fill out his last week. Poor guy.
Speaking about his vacation, we didn't take any time to talk about that 6-6 tie, but why should we? Because, I mean, who wants to talk about a tie?
Hey,
Arizona Cardinals,
snooze.
Seattle Seahawks. Seattle loses their offense again. It disappeared again.
Eagles fans should not talk about ties because at one
Donovan
point
McNabb.
their quarterback didn't even know a game could end in a tie.
That was the stupidest
I remember watching
thing
that
he
game, too.
ever- He goes, I wasn't in the press conference afterwards. I wasn't even aware that a professional football game could end in a tie. I was like, are you kidding me? I'm like
Let me
14
tell ya.
years old and I know that, moron.
By that time in Donovan McNabb's career, Eagles fans had just about enough of Donovan McNabb. Now, we
Had
did make
enough
the
of him when
NFC
he got
Championship
drafted.
game that year, but that was the last straw. When we lost that NFC Championship game to the Cardinals, that was the same season as that tie. Dude, so Donovan McNabbed out, and he's been the best quarterback we've ever had. Excuse me,
Yep.
but like by that point, we had just had enough.
Yeah,
My
I guess
God.
so. But also, since we're not going to have a second show, do you guys want to try to run through these games
exactly.
real quick? Okay,
Yes.
so the Washington Redskins versus the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm going to go with the Redskins. What are you guys thinking?
Ooh, let me. I forget what I picked. Colin. Oh, here they are.
Yeah.
All right. So I took Cincy in this. I don't know. I think. I kind of see the Washington Redskins like I see the Detroit Lions. They're almost there, but not quite. Cincinnati's like that too, but a little bit more high-powered. But they're definitely a little bit more of a low. Jeremy Hill had a great game last week. He better have a great game this week. He sat on my bench. My bench got me a crazy amount of points this week. I think 3 people in my bench combined for almost 90 points, but I still won. So it doesn't really matter.
Attaboy.
But I definitely put Jeremy Hill in this week, and I like the Bengals over the Skins.
Colin.
I took the Bengals as well. They're at home, so I'll go with that. I think they need the win more than Washington does. Bengals are sitting there at 3-4. Roethlisberger's hurt. They got to get back into this division.
I think that Cousins is fighting for a job, and I think he's going to try to really put a performance out there on them. We'll see, though. But now let's move out to the next game here. We got Tampa Bay going up against the Oakland Raiders. I'm going with Oakland.
The Raiders.
What about you, Colin?
Yeah, I'm taking the Raiders in that one as well.
The Raiders.
Yep, the Raiders. All right. I mean, Mike Evans does seem to be quite the fantasy commodity, being Jameis Winston's #1 target. So who puts up more fantasy points in this game? Now, let's remember, in week 1, I believe, Mike Evans and Jameis Winston combined for an astronomical amount of points.
Amari Cooper.
So who's going to put up? No, but the combination, is it going to be Derek Carr and Amari Cooper?
Yeah.
Or is it going to be Mike Evans and Jameis Winston's Colin?
That is a really good question. I'm going to take Carr and Cooper, although I'm going to give an honorable mention to Crabtree. You never know if Michael Crabtree's going to put up the numbers
Michael
this time,
Crabtree.
too. It goes back and forth, but the Bucs have a really bad secondary. I'll take Derek Carr, but I bet it'll be close. Raiders secondary isn't much either.
Now, John, you said you think Amari Cooper
Correct.
and Derek Carr, but I am going with Tampa for the reason Colin just said. I see Tampa Bay, Jameis Winston. I mean, he does have Austin Seferian-Jenkins, but
Their secondary is a
just-
little bit less suspect.
yeah, but I think
the
Carr's going to
Tampa
spread
Bay
out the
Buccaneers.
ball more. So I don't think Amari Cooper's score will be as high as Mike Evans because I really see him being force-fed. I like Oakland to win the game, but when it comes to fantasy, I think Evans is going to get a couple more points because he's really the only target. Carr can spread out the ball to Crabtree a little bit as well. Crabtree has, some
Crabtree's
multiple
having an
score
amazing
games.
season
Yeah,
this
I'm
year.
very surprised. I did not have any hopes for him. I talked trash on him in the offseason, saying he was done. He could never really perform. He had a couple good years.
You
I
never
always
watched
thought he
him
was
at Texas Tech,
Yeah,
then.
but I don't care about Texas Tech. Go look
Yes,
at
he was awesome.
Johnny Manziel at A&M when he's running circles in the backfield, just throwing up prayers for Evans to go get it. But, I mean,
You do what you do, I guess.
yeah,
but-
okay.
Moving
So are
on.
we all in agreement with the Raiders on that
yeah,
one?
I got the
Okay.
I
Raiders.
think we are.
All right, so Seattle and New Orleans. I like Seattle.
I like Seattle as well.
I actually took the Saints at home. Drew Brees has been playing well.
Who dat?
That'll be I won't be surprised if I'm wrong on that one, but I love the Saints in the Dome. And, the secondary and the defense as a whole of New Orleans is bad, but Russell Wilson has not been the same player this year. I'm taking the Saints.
All right, okay. Now, John, why don't you defend your pick? You and me both liking Seattle. They couldn't even put up a touchdown, landing in a 6-6 tie. A tie where both kickers had an opportunity to make short field goals and win. Couldn't capitalize. Why should we believe that they can capitalize against the Saints' high-powered but inconsistent offense?
Why? Because after this tie, there's going to be a lot of heated blood coming from that sideline, and I think that's going to channel into a victory, and I think I believe in them to do so. At least in defensively, if they can shut the offense down, the Saints defense is still pretty suspect. So as long as they can move the ball offensively and stop them defensively, then it'd be a really good game for them. And I don't know. I just don't see the Saints defense stopping Seattle's offense. I think this is going to be a good game for them offensively.
Now, Colin, you were talking about taking a lot of road teams this week. I am doing the same. I will take Kansas City Chiefs on the road in Indy over the Colts. I have taken 8 away teams and only 5 home teams this week. Colin, who do you like in the Chiefs versus Andrew Luck and the Colts?
I actually took the Colts in this one.
All right, so we got some argument, we got some battles going on.
I got the Chiefs, so I went with the Chiefs.
All right, so you guys are disagreeing again. Colin, you go first. Why do you like the Colts?
I think it's just another factor of, the Chiefs are so much tougher to play when they're in Arrowhead. Sure, they went into Oakland and, roughed them up the other week. But, Andrew Luck's still been moving the ball. T.Y. Hilton's doing his thing. Frank Gore is still somehow chugging along. I really like their offense, and I think they just kind of match up well with the Chiefs. Their weakness is their secondary, and Alex Smith doesn't necessarily scare anybody. He hasn't been able to get Jeremy Maclin or Travis Kelce really involved in the game so far this year. If they can shut down Spencer Ware, at least to a little bit, I think the Colts will be able to take care of the Chiefs.
Okay, see, I have a little bit more faith in Andy Reid, and I've always had I can appreciate Alex Smith. I think if the Niners would have never gotten rid of him, Jim Harbaugh would still be there. They would have never had Jim Tom Sula, all the drama with Colin Kaepernick. Now that still would have happened, but I just think, well, no, it wouldn't have ever happened because Colin Kaepernick would have been a starter because Alex Smith would have. Yeah. So I just think the team would have stayed better as a whole. I think everyone was thinking after that AFC Championship game with the Seattle Seahawks and the Niners, the Crabtree game with Sherman, that this was going to be, a hard-fought AFC West division for a long time to come, and I don't really see it anymore.
Yeah, it really hasn't been that way. But
all right, so
speaking of teams that haven't turned out to be that way, the Houston Texans are going up against the Lions, but I have the Houston Texans winning.
Well, I mean, the Texans just took a hard loss. I like them bouncing back, even though it's on a short week. They are at home, and both teams a little inconsistent. Houston up at 4-3. They really had an opportunity to gain some ground in the South, but they fell this past week. Colin, who you like in the Lions or the Texans?
I'm taking the Lions right in a 3-game win streak, even without Amir Abdullah and Theo Riddick. Their offense really hasn't slowed down.
Yeah,
so I'm rolling with the Lions. Yeah, Forsett started to get involved last week. He actually moved the ball pretty well on, just a few carries. I don't see the Lions slowing down while Brock Osweiler is playing the way he is.
All right, guys, we got just over 7 minutes. This is Andrew Santoro on Voice of Bedlam Live. Thanks for hanging out with us for the past hour. We're just giving our picks for the upcoming games. Thanks for checking us out. If you missed any part of this show on the Olin Sports Talk Network, make sure you go over to voiceofbedlam.com and check out our blog. You can also get links to the podcast on Podbean, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music. We are up on YouTube. You guys can go voiceofbedlam.com, click on video podcast, get linked over to the YouTube, and watch the show in its entirety. We're going through our JokerChoker.com pro football pick'em poker picks right now, previewing the upcoming week. We have Devil John and King Kojo Colin Johnson on the phone. We're going to have to get a little bit faster now. I'm taking the Jets over the Browns. The Browns are not a real team. The Browns are a team that offenses get to pad their stats on. I like the Jets. Well. Colin, you as well?
Yeah, I'm taking the Jets.
All right, let's go on. That's not really that interesting.
Yeah, it was just
New England. Oh, good divisional here. New England over the Bills. Now, the Bills had won 4 straight, suffering a loss. Can they bounce back? They had an upset win against the Patriots to start this win streak.
No, I got.
Can they get it moving again this time, facing Brady?
I got the Patriots.
Colin.
Patriots.
Me too, but I want to change it, and I just want to pick the Bills anyway. I want to pick the Patriots anyway.
Yeah, do it so that you can get different JokerChoker picks.
Yeah, no, you can't edit your picks, though, once you submit them, yeah.
Yeah, I got you. So, yeah, you're committed. So, anyway, speaking of committed, we're going to see a slugger in Green Bay with Green Bay versus Atlanta, and I'm going with Green Bay over not Atlanta, who is going to continue falling down.
Yeah, when Julio and Matt want to play catch together, they do great. But they can't always do that. But Green Bay isn't what they used to be.
Yeah, but they're not going to allow that.
Underachievers to me.
They're not going to allow that.
I mean, a lot of people are saying that, Aaron Rodgers should have a lot more than one Super Bowl win.
Yeah,
I mean, he does get into the playoffs. He does get injured. I do like the Packers in this game, but Atlanta could pull an upset. Colin, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you, Andrew. I'm taking the Packers, but I think this will be a last possession type of game, especially with Atlanta playing in the Dome. I like the Packers, but Atlanta will put up a good fight.
Now, we have a great defense in the Denver Broncos playing off a rough they had that win over the Texans this past Monday. They played Monday Night Football 27-9. Can they keep the win streak going, create a win streak after losing 2 straight? I say yes over the San Diego Chargers at home.
Second that.
Colin, who are you taking, Denver or the Chargers? Denver at home.
Broncos in revenge.
That is thrice. Now we're moving out to Carolina, and they host the Cardinals. I got Carolina at home. I know it sounds like a homer pick, but this is the point where this team needs to prove that they're talented and be able to put up W's. What are you saying, Colin?
I do accuse you, John, of making homer picks, but this is not a homer pick. I disagree with you and went with the Cardinals, but the Cardinals aren't that good of a team, and I could see the Panthers winning this one. I just chose to go with Arizona, but I mean, they're just coming off that 6-6 tie. I don't know. This is an ugly game to me. I don't think you're a homer for taking the Panthers, though. Colin, what do you think?
I went with the Cardinals as well. This is another tough one I had. I took the Cardinals for the 5 for my JokerChoker, so I can get my 4 of a kind. I could see this game going either way. I sided with the Cardinals really just for the card. So I'll stick with the Cardinals, and if I'm wrong, don't say that I didn't think the Panthers could win.
And
I'll cop out.
What about the game? I'm calling it the game of the week. The Philadelphia Eagles versus the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, that should be the game of the week. I like the Cowboys in a great matchup. I think the Eagles will go down swinging. I would rather the Eagles win. It would be better for the Giants, but I think the Cowboys gain some distance in the division.
My brother would hate me if I didn't go with them. I have to go with them boys.
Colin.
I'm going with the Eagles just for for my JokerChoker, but also screw it. Let's go Eagles. Fine.
Well, no, that's a fair pick though. Even though you guys are taking the teams you root for this week, they're both in matchups that they could win, so they're not homer picks. I disagree with both of you. But they're still fair picks. There is, Carson Wentz. He did have his first multiple interception game. We're going to see how he plays back from that, getting kind of a little off easy, still winning the game with a game and 2 interceptions. That doesn't happen that often, but let's see if he can bounce back. But Ezekiel Elliott and that offensive line with Dak Prescott, Beasley, Williams, this Cowboys offense is very high-powered, but a very high-powered defense is the Minnesota Vikings. And now Brian Hoyer has been placed on IR, and Cutler is looking to return. I still, of course, like the Vikings.
I like the Vikings as well. I think they're going to bounce back from that loss. So what are you thinking, Colin?
Yeah, I'm taking Minnesota to bounce back. St. Bradford will have a better game.
Yeah, okay. I mean, Minnesota really leaning on their defense, but Bradford has been doing enough to get it done. Now, who's his
that
number
defense,
one
though, that's gonna
target out
save
there?
him.
Kenny Britt?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean...
Kenny Britt. Wait, what?
Kenny Britt? No, not Kenny Britt.
Stephon Diggs?
Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, I was
There
like,
we
what?
go.
Yeah, you threw me
Stephon
off for a
Diggs.
second, and I agreed to it. Why? Why did I do that?
See, Colin,
and then
we
the guy,
need you on this show.
It's gonna be interesting. Stephon Diggs, though, that hasn't really been doing too much for me fantasy wise.
He was earlier in the year, though.
In the beginning of the year, yeah. Now it seems like him and Bradford need to get it together a little bit better.
All right, guys. But remember to check out voiceofbedlam.com. And thanks for helping out with us on Voice of Bedlam Live. I am your host, Andrew Santoro. You can catch us every Tuesday and Friday on the All In Sports Talk Network. We're going to have to be getting out of here for now. Thanks for hanging out with us. Remember, go to voiceofbedlam.com. Check out the blog. Check out the podcast. Go to facebook.com/VOBpod. You guys can like our page. Hit me up on Twitter at Andrew Bedlam. That's going to wrap it up for this week. For King Kojo, Colin Johnson on the phones, Devil John on the mic and on the boards. I am Andrew Bedlam, and we're getting the hell out of here.
Voice of Bedlam Live.